Hello and welcome back everyone. My name is Lalit Soni and you are watching Target Prelims 2026 Revision with MCQ series by Drishti IAS. In this initiative, we are discussing some MCQs which are important for your prelims point of view. So let's discuss the MCQs from the geography section. Before that also we have come up with various episodes wherein we have discussed geography, history as well as polity and other segments wherein these MCQs has been discussed. So if you have not watched this episode, go ahead and watch that. These are kind of high yielding for your exams. Okay. So let's start with the question number 1, that is, consider the following statements. Statement 1 says that the total length of India's coastline has been revised to 11,098.81 kilometers from an earlier estimate that was 7,517 kilometers. Okay. So what the statement is saying that we have come up with the new estimate and wherein the length of our coastline has increased to 11,098.81 kilometers. This statement is perfectly correct. So statement 1 is right. Coming to the second one, that is, amongst the coastal states and union territories, Gujarat has the longest coastline. Now this part is correct. Obviously Gujarat has the longest coastline while Daman and Diu has the shortest one. Now this is incorrect because with the new estimate we can say that the Puducherry has the shortest one. So we can say that statement 2 is incorrect, 1 is correct. Option A would be your right answer over here. Now let's see the explanation. Before this we had a estimate that was from 1970s. Okay, at that point of time we have used a scale which was, you can say, smaller, but since technological development was not up to mark, now with the new tools and the GIS, remote sensing, etc., we have gone for the more precise explanation of the coastline, and wherein we have gone for the estimation which has increased our coastline because it has increased the small features which were missed in 1970s, like some of the inlets can be there and then some bays can be there. Okay, so all these things has been you can say calculated this time. Also we have actually included the islands, we have included the coastline of the islands, and because of which also the increase in number can be seen. Now here you can say in the modern estimate we have used the satellite imagery, we have used a better and precise scale, that is 1:25 lakh. Earlier it was 1:45 lakh. Okay, so that was there, and in this time, as I told you, that small inlets, creeks, bays, etc., were also included in calculating. Okay, other than that we have also gone for the island integration. Okay, Andaman and Nicobar, nearly 3,000 kilometers of coastline has been added just because of the Andaman and Nicobar. Okay, so that is about the new estimates. Question can be asked about it because coastal security is important, and as well as from the economic point of view as well, you can say coastline is important. Okay, so here you can say the government has revised the total length of India's coastline using the modern GIS, geographic information systems, and the remote sensing techniques. The new assessment, which has placed India's total coastline at 11,098.81 kilometers, which was earlier 7,516 kilometers. And if we are talking about the next thing here, the difference is because of the, you can say, the map scale, which we have seen that earlier it was 1:45 lakh and now it was 1:25 lakh. Okay, now computation methods, now this time they have used precise methods which are aided by the technology. Okay, so this we have already discussed the scale. Now other than that they have included smaller bays, inlet, creeks and other coastal irregularities, and all the among all the states and the union territories, here you can see Gujarat has the longest coastline, that is 2,340.62 kilometers, and Puducherry records the shortest one. Okay, these are some of the facts which you have to remember, like not specifically the numbers here, but which has the longest one, which has the shortest one. Okay, and the total coastline at that point of time, when we are talking about the total coastline, the number and the figure is also important. Okay, so that is there. Other than that, as I told you that islands has been included, so here Andaman and Nicobar has included a coastline length of 3,083.5 kilometers, and Lakshadweep has included nearly around 144.82 kilometers. Okay, so these are some of the things which we have discussed in this question. Now we can move further to the question number 2. Consider the following statements. One is the red soil develops crystalline igneous rocks while laterite soil forms due to the intense leaching. So basically they are saying that when we are talking about the process of pedogenesis, that is soil formation, so they are asking how red soil is formed and how the laterite soil is formed. When we are talking about the red soil, obviously it is because of the igneous rocks and presence of some ferrous content, okay. And when we are talking about the laterite soil, that is formed because of the increased leaching in the area. So mostly you will be seeing that wherever there is a rainfall, high rainfall, so there can be, we can see the laterite soil, okay. So statement 1 is correct. Coming to the next one, that the red soil appears reddish due to the diffusion of iron in the crystalline and the metamorphic rock. So when I told you that red soil obviously is because of the iron content, okay, while they look yellow when the iron occurs in the anhydrous form. Anhydrous form means that it does not have water, okay, but the color is yellow because of the hydration, okay, because of the presence of the hydrates. What is hydrates? The water present in the crystalline form in the mineral. So basically whenever you will be seeing that some kind of formula is there, Fe2O3.5H2O, so this particular presence of the hydrates over here will make it look yellow, okay. So that is there. So that is not because of the anhydrous form, but that is because of the hydrous form. Okay, so statement 2 becomes incorrect over here. Coming to the third one, laterite soil though poor in humus and microorganism. Why it is poor in humus and microorganism? Obviously laterite soil mostly happens in the areas where temperature is high, okay, and rainfall is occurring continuously. Because of the temperature, high temperature, the bacteria is not able to survive over there, one thing. Second thing is that even if humus is there, that get leached away because of the presence of the rainfall and you can say leaching through the running water, okay. Now considering that it will be poor in humus and microorganism, that means that the fertile activity or the fertility of the soil might decrease, but with the help of the fertilizer etc., we can say that laterite soil though poor in humus and the microorganism becomes suitable for the crops like tea, coffee and cashew nuts after proper soil management. After proper soil management, yes, this does have a good amount of fertility which will enhance the crops like tea, coffee and the cashew nuts. So statement 3 is correct, statement 1 is correct, statement 2 is not. So you can say that option C would be a right answer, that is 1 and 3 only, okay. Now here you can go through this. The formation of the red soil is because of the low rainfall regions, which is mostly your peninsular region, eastern and the southern Deccan plateau. Parent material is igneous rock, which we have already discussed. Color agent we have seen, that is red because of the ferrous content and yellow because of the hydrates, okay. Then biological viability supports general agricultural activity over there. Now when we are talking about the laterite soil, that is because of the high temperature, heavy rainfall in the region, and that leads to leaching, okay. Because of the leaching, you will be seeing that the soluble minerals get washed away, but the metals like iron and aluminium stays over there, and that is why you will be seeing that laterite soils are generally, you can say, rich in iron and aluminium content. When we are talking about the coloring agent, maintains a deep earthen color, brick like color. And when we are talking about the biological viability, I told you that this is poor in humus and the you can say organic content, but because of the proper soil management, here you can grow crops like tea, coffee etc., okay. So in the southern region, in the areas of Coorg etc., you will be seeing that the coffee plantations are quite viable, and in the Western Ghats also, okay. Now option C is your right answer, which we have already discussed. The same thing is discussed over here, so you can go through this. Now let's move further to the question number 3. Before that, I would like to tell you that when I talked about the tea, coffee and cashew nuts etc., so the regions which are having prominent crop cycles with respect to the tea and coffee, you will be seeing that in Kerala, Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh you will be having plantations, okay. Now question number 3, in the context of mineral distribution in India, consider the following regions: Durg, Bastar, Chandrapur belt, Bellary, Chitradurg, Chikmagalur and Tumkur belt, Balaghat belt, Koderma, Gaya, Hazaribagh belt, okay. So these are the belts which has been given generally related to the mineral exploration, okay. Now how many of the above regions are major iron ore production centers in India, okay. So obviously it is a factual question, so you can see that the Durg, Bastar and the Chandrapur region and the Bellary, Chitradurg and Chikmagalur, Tungpur belt is also famous for iron. When we talk about the Balaghat belt, that is famous for copper production. Okay, and Koderma, Gaya, Hazaribagh, that is also your copper production belt. Okay, so 1 and 2 is your right answer. Option B would be right, that is only 2. Now from your exam point of view, here this I have placed it on the map, so that will be easy for you to remember. When we are talking about this region, that is your Koderma, Gaya, this is there in Bihar, and when we are talking about this Koderma, Gaya, Hazaribagh belt, this is located over here. Now this is the area which is generally known as the Chota Nagpur plateau. Okay, Chota Nagpur plateau is basically, you can say, which is quite famous for the minerals. Okay, so that is the area over here. Now when we are talking about the next one, that is Balaghat belt, which we have seen, that is there in Madhya Pradesh, etc. Okay, so when we are talking about this particular belt here, you can say copper, and that is not famous for iron. Areas like Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh, that is where you can see copper. Now coming to the next one, that is this over here in Karnataka, that is Bellary, Chitradurga, Chikmagalur, Tumkur. These are the area in Karnataka. Specifically speaking, there is this mines known as Kudremukh. Okay, so that is quite famous for the mineral exploration over here. That is world's largest mines located in this particular region. Okay, now coming to the next one, that is your Durg, Bastar and Chandrapur belt. That is where basically you can say that some of the Maharashtra and Chhattisgarh region. So Durg, Bastar and Chandrapur region, that is also known for the hematite, that is iron ore. Okay, then Odisha, Jharkhand belt, this particular area, that is also known for the iron, that is hematite. Specifically speaking, Mayurbhanj and Kundjhar and Singhbhum, these are some of the important mines which are located in this particular area. Okay, now explanation is given over here. We have talked about the Odisha, Jharkhand belt, which is famous for the iron, that is hematite ore. Okay, herein we have also talked about the Mayurbhanj, Kundjhar and Singhbhum districts. Okay, then Durg, Bastar and Chandrapur region, which we have talked about, which is also related to your iron ore. Now when we are talking about the areas like Balaghat, that is famous for copper, Koderma, Gaya, Hazaribagh also for copper. Okay, now let's move further to question number 4. Consider the following statement. Statement 1 says the southwest monsoon begins to retreat from the northwest India in early September. Now they are saying that it begins to retreat from the northwest India. Earlier when we were talking about the monsoon, I have told you that monsoon moves something like this. It will enter from here and then move parallel to the Western Ghats and then goes to the northwestern region, and second branch will be coming from somewhere from here. This is the area, northwestern region is the area where monsoon will be reaching last. Okay, but it will retreat from here first. So it will reach last to here and then have the same path and retrieve from that particular region. So that process starts in September, finishes in October. Okay, so statement 1 is correct over here. The second, here we can see the apparent southward shift of sun and cooling effect of the widespread monsoon rain causes a fall in the temperature. Now obviously we know that sun basically moves from you can say tropics. This is equator and our location is somewhere over here. Okay, this is Tropic of Cancer, which is passes through India, and now because of this you will be seeing that sun will start to move in the southern direction or the southern hemisphere during the winters. Okay, so this is the place where it will start, and because of which temperature will start to fall. When temperature falls, you know that the high pressure area is created over here, and we know that winds move from high pressure to low pressure. Where will be the low pressure? Obviously sun is moving in the southern direction, so low pressure will be generated somewhere over in the southern part of the world, and that is why the winds will start to move from this area to this area, and that is why monsoon retreats from India. Okay, so that is about this. Statement 2 is saying that the apparent southward shift of sun and the cooling effect of the widespread monsoon rains causes a fall in the temperature, obviously. So statement 1 and 2 is correct, and that is the explanation of the retreat of the monsoon. Okay, so option A would be a right answer. Both statement 1 and 2 are correct, and the statement 2 explains the statement 1. That says that the statement 2 has the correct explanation of the statement 1. Now here you can see solar shift is the reason because of which the retreat starts. Okay, sun starts to move towards the Tropic of Capricorn, and because of which temperature starts to fall. Temperature falls, that means that high pressure zone will be created over here, so pressure starts to increase in the part of Indian subcontinent. Okay, Then because of which, if pressure is high over here, see, high pressure is there and low pressure is created over here, we know that winds flows from high pressure area to low pressure area, and because of which you will be seeing that retreat of monsoon start to happen. Okay, I hope that is clear. So that is what is written over here. You can go through this. Option A is your right answer, which we have already marked. Okay. Now let's see question number 5. Consider the following statement. Statement 1 says that the Wular Lake is India's largest freshwater lake. This is correct. Okay. Second part says that was formed due to the glacial activities. Most of the lakes which are formed in Himalayan region, they are from the glacial activity, but not the Wular Lake. Wular Lake is tectonic in origin. Tectonic means that because of the movement of the plates, there was a depression which was created, and then later it was filled with the water, and that is why we are saying that we have a lake over there that is not glacial in origin, that is tectonic in origin. Okay, so that is what makes the statement 1 incorrect, because it is saying that Wular Lake is glacial because of the glacial activity. Okay. Then comes the second statement. Most of India's freshwater lakes are glacial in origin and are concentrated in the Himalayan region. Obviously, this statement is correct. Okay, so we can say that second statement is the only one which is correct. Option B would be your right answer over here. Here you can see the explanation is given over here. The most of India's freshwater lakes are found in the Himalayan region, and they are because of the glacial origin, obviously because of the presence of the snow, and that is why we have glacial lakes over there. These lakes are formed due to the glacier carved out of the basins in the mountain terrain, which later got filled with the melt water from the snow and ice, and hence they are typically located at the high altitudes in the Himalayas. Okay, so that is about the glacial lakes. Now comes the Wular Lake. Wular Lake is tectonic in origin. So here they have said that Wular Lake, which is present in Jammu and Kashmir, stands an exception to the above rule over here, and it is formed because of the tectonic activities. There was a depression which was formed because of the movement of the plates, and then it was filled with the water. Other important freshwater lakes like Dal Lake, which is also there in Jammu and Kashmir, Bhimtal and Nainital, which is there in Uttarakhand, Loktak, which is there in Manipur, Barapani, that is there in Meghalaya. These are all freshwater lakes. Okay, these are all freshwater lakes in India. Now let's move further to the question number 6. We have already discussed the answer to this, that is option B. Now question number 6 says that consider the following statement with regard to the coal fields in India. Okay. Now tertiary coal fields are located primarily in the peninsular region. First is the tertiary coal fields and second is the Gondwana coal fields. Okay, so I'll tell you about these two. One is your Gondwana. Okay, then tertiary one. So obviously we know that coal is formed because of the fossil activities. This Gondwana age coal fields, these are old, because obviously when you know that you know about the Pangaea and Panthalassa, you know about the Laurasia and the Gondwana land, and India, the plate which came and got attached with the Eurasian plate, that plate was from the Gondwana part. Okay, so that is why in the peninsular region you will be seeing that there are coal fields which are from the Gondwana coal fields. Okay, so that is one reason, that is old one. And then tertiary one, these are relatively younger. Okay, when we are talking about this particular coal, so somewhere around 250 million or something years, and this will be somewhere around 30 to 20 to 30 million years. These are just estimates, and I'm not sure about these correct figures, but this is somewhere over there. Okay, now when we are talking about the tertiary one, these are younger in nature. Okay, now come back to the statement. The tertiary coal fields are located primarily in the peninsular region, including states like Madhya Pradesh, Odisha and Telangana. I told you that Gondwana land or the peninsular part was from this particular you can say Gondwana land, and that is why it is having the Gondwana coal fields. Okay, so statement 1 becomes incorrect over here. Second is the Gondwana coal fields, which are sedimentary in origin, accounts nearly 98% of India's total coal reserves. So yeah, this statement is correct. Mostly here you can see these coal fields are somewhere around 98%, and then tertiary coal fields are somewhere around 2%. Obviously that is the remaining one. So that is the composition of the coal fields in India. So here you can say statement 2 is correct and 1 is not. Option B is your right answer. Here you can see Gondwana reserves are somewhere around 98%, and remaining 2% is basically tertiary reserves. Here you can say formed during the lower Gondwana age, purely sedimentary in nature. Geography, if we talk about, this is distributed across the major peninsular river valleys like Damodar, that is Jharkhand, West Bengal region, Son, MP and Chhattisgarh, Mahanadi river basin, that is in Odisha, Godavari, that is in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana region, and Wardha, that is there in Maharashtra. Then talking about the tertiary reserves, that is from the tertiary epoch, origin of much younger geological formation, and when we are talking about the location, that would be located in the extra peninsular region, that is mostly you can say Purvanchal Himalayas and the Himalayas. Okay, so here you can see Assam, Meghalaya, Nagaland, Andhra Pradesh, this is your Purvanchal Himalayas, and when we are talking about Jammu Kashmir as Sikkim, that is from the Himalayan region. Okay, so that is about the coal fields. Same thing is written over here, you can go through it. Okay, option B would be your right answer, which has been discussed. Now question number 7, consider the following statements with respect to the jet streams and their influence on the Indian climate. Now jet streams are nothing but the upper atmospheric air circulations. Okay, now we have talked about the trade winds, easterlies, westerlies, etc. These are surface level wind interaction, and when we are talking about the upper atmospheric wind system, that is your jet streams. Okay, now during winters, a westerly jet stream is responsible for bringing the western disturbances from the Mediterranean region, causing rainfall and snowfall in the southern India. Okay, now when we are talking about the western disturbances, you know that during the winters we have some rainfall in the northwestern region of our country. That is because of the western disturbances, and that is because of the westerly jet streams. Okay, now westerly jet stream is because it is originating from the western sides. Okay, they will be picking up moisture from the Mediterranean region, they will be coming towards India and subside over here. So that is because of the westerly. So statement A is correct. Now coming to the second one, during the summer, the westerly jet stream strengthens due to the heating of the Tibetan plateau, aiding the onset of the southwest monsoon over the peninsula. Now obviously Tibetan plateau get heated. Okay, temperature increases, because of which pressure will be low. Okay, and that will attract the winds towards India, but that is not because of the westerly jet stream. Okay, that is because of the easterly jet stream that get strengthened. Okay, now when we are talking about the Tibetan plateau, let's see. Here we have the Tibetan plateau, low pressure will be generated over here. Now southwest monsoon is coming like this. So that means that this is the low pressure region. Now low pressure region will start to have you can say whatever warm air is there, which will start to convection will happen and it will start to rise, and in the upper atmosphere this will start to concentrating over here and start to move in this particular direction. Since it is originating from the eastern region, that is why these are easterly jet streams. Okay, so in the upper air or in the upper atmospheric region, there will be an easterly jet stream which will be you can say causing this particular thing in the summer. Okay, so that statement 2 is incorrect, statement 1 is correct, option A would be your right answer. Now since these are MCQs, since this is a revision series, I'm assuming that you are comfortable with the idea of jet stream, you are comfortable with the idea of monsoon, and monsoon we have discussed already in the previous lecture. Okay, now here you can see this is the westerly jet stream. Here you can see in the winters we have westerly. So here one will be going in the region of the Trans-Himalayas, second will be byparting over here in the northwestern region, and here there will be a rainfall that is just normally we call it as western disturbances. Okay, so that is because of the westerly jet stream. Now coming to the easterly jet stream, this is the Tibetan plateau. Obviously during the summer, during the monsoon region, we know that the surface level winds are moving in this direction. Okay, they will come to Tibetan area, they will start to rise, and in the upper atmosphere they will be moving in this direction. Okay, now this is the easterly jet stream because it is originating from the east. Okay, so I hope that is clear. This is about the upper air circulation, completely reverses. Intense heating of the Tibetan plateau generates an easterly jet. It flows over peninsular India nearly 15 degree north, physically aiding the onset of the dominant southwest monsoon. Now how does it help in the monsoon? Because see, it is rising over here and it is moving in this direction in the upper air. If it is moving in this direction, that means that there will be more low pressure which will be created. More low pressure, that means that the winds will be moving with the faster speed toward the you can say Tibetan Plateau. That is your southwest monsoon. So intensity of the monsoon will start to increase because of the easterly jet stream. Okay. Now let's move further. This is what is written in the explanation. You can go through it. Now next question, consider the following statement. The easterlies are deflected to left in the northern hemisphere due to the Coriolis force, which makes this statement wrong, because during our I think first or second episode I have discussed the Coriolis effect. Okay, and that time I told you in the northern hemisphere the deflection is toward right. Okay, that makes that this statement is incorrect. Okay, now coming to the next one, that is the roaring 40s, furious 50s and the shrinking 60s occurs primarily in the northern hemisphere. Now when we are talking about this particular part also, this is also incorrect, because when we are talking about these names like roaring 40s, furious 50s, that means that intensity of these winds are very high. Okay, and why it is high in the southern hemisphere? Because you know that the most of the you can say continents which are generally in this particular region, okay, if we are talking about our continent as well as Africa also, we know that these are mostly in the northern hemisphere. Sorry, these are mostly in the northern hemisphere. So these are the continent over here. So this particular portion over here in the southern hemisphere, you will be seeing that this is totally ocean, and there is very little landmass present to obstruct the winds, etc. And that is why winds in this particular region, they intensify. Okay, and that is why they are the local names are given like that is roaring 40s, furious 50s and shrinking 60s. And why is that? That is because of the location. This is in the 40° south. This is in the 50° south, and that is why these names are given. Okay, so statement 2 is also incorrect, because they are saying that it is happening in the northern hemisphere. It won't happen in the northern hemisphere because there is a lot of land mass which is there, and land mass does affect the speed as well as intensity of the winds, because land mass has a different you can say heating coefficient from the oceans. Okay, so these two statements are incorrect. Option D would be your right answer over here. You can see when I told you about the Coriolis force, I told you that deflection in the northern hemisphere is towards right. Even if you are throwing a ball in this direction or this direction, deflection will be in the right direction. Okay, and in the southern hemisphere it will be toward the left direction. Okay, coming to the next one. This we have discussed in the first or second episode, wherein we have talked about all the pressure belts, and because of which you will be seeing the trade winds and the easterlies and westerlies. Why we call it as easterly or westerly? If it is originating from the east, it is easterly. If it is originating from the west, it is westerly. Okay, so this is about it. When we are talking about this particular region, you will be seeing we have the furious 40s, okay, sorry, furious 50s, roaring 40s. So here in this particular picture you can see this is your furious 50s. Okay, this is your furious 50s, this is your roaring 40s, and this is your shrinking 60s. Okay, why it is shrinking? Because again we are having the Antarctic landmass over here. Okay, I hope that is clear. Because southern hemisphere is dominated by the vast stretches of ocean, and the westerlies are blown with exceptional strength and the consistency between 40s and 60s degrees south, owing to their intense speed. These belts are famously known as roaring 40s, furious 50s and shrinking 60s. I hope that is correct. Okay, now we can move to question number 9. Consider the following statement. First is valley breeze develops at night when cold dense air moves down slopes into the valley. Second statement is mountain breeze develops during the daytime when the temperature of the mountain slopes rises faster than that of the valley floors. Okay, then comes the third one, that is the mountain breeze and the valley breeze together forms a local diurnal wind system that reverses the direction between the day and night. Now obviously when we are talking about the mountain and the valley system, that is a diurnal shift. In the day there were two kind of shift will be there. Okay, from the mountains toward the valley and from valley towards the mountain. Okay, so this statement 3 is correct. Now when we are talking about these two, here we will be trying to understand this. Here you can say in the day daytime, what dynamics will be there is that the sun rapidly heats the valley in the air. Here, because of the presence of sun in daylight, here you will be seeing that there will be temperature which will start to increase, and then the heated air mass will start to rise along the slope of the mountains. Okay, so because of which what will happen is that during the valley breeze you will be seeing that that will happen during the day, time of the day. Okay, so here you can say they are talking about the valley breeze which is developing at the time of night. Now that makes the statement incorrect. Now the reverse of it as that mountain breezes will be happening during the night time. Okay, so that is saying that mountain breeze developed during the daytime. Now they have reversed the statements, and that is why these two statements are incorrect. Third one is correct, that is option A. Okay, now here again see what happens during the night time is that during the night time here we know that with the height increased or altitude, as the altitude increases temperature decreases, so this particular area will be cold. Okay, this area will be, you can say, the cold air is generally heavy, that is why it start to sink. Okay, so in the valley region you will be seeing that there will be a movement of cold air from the mountain slopes towards the valley region, and that is why this is called as the mountain breeze. Now why the names are like that? Because obviously when we are talking about mountain breeze, I told you that winds are named after their origin. Okay, since it is originating from mountain towards the valley, that is why it is mountain breeze. Okay, now if you look at this is valley breeze because it is originating from the valley and moving towards the mountain slopes. Okay, so that is clear. Option A is the right answer, which we have discussed. You can go through this explanation which is given over here. Now question number 10, which is the last one. Consider the following statement in respect of the absolute and the relative humidity. Now here you can say first one, statement 1, which is saying that absolute humidity refers to the actual amount of water vapor present in a given volume of air. So basically what they are saying that if I'm taking a 1 cubicle cubic of the air or this particular area, so in this particular air how much amount of water is present or how much amount of moisture is present, that would be your absolute humidity. We are looking at the absolute volume of water which is present in this particular volume of air. Okay, so that is absolute humidity. Now talking about the next one, that is relative humidity. Now this particular absolute humidity is irrespective of the temperature condition or the pressure conditions. Okay, so that is why it is absolute in nature. Now coming to the relative humidity, that is saying that the amount of moisture with respect to the volume of air but at a particular temperature. Okay, so here you can say relative humidity varies with the temperature because it is the ratio of actual water vapor present in the air to its maximum moisture holding capacity at the same temperature. What they are saying is that at a particular temperature, whatever is its maximum holding capacity or the saturation to hold the moisture, to what percent it is holding the moisture. Okay, so that is with respect to the temperature. So when we are talking about the absolute humidity, you will be seeing that the total amount of water or the humidity which is kept under a particular volume of air, that is absolute. With respect to the temperature, whatever is the maximum capacity to hold the water, and with respect to that, what is the content of moisture which it is holding, so that is relative humidity. Both the statements are correct over here. Option C would be your right answer. Simply speaking, that is what they have given, that is the amount of or volume of air in which whatever amount of moisture is there, that is your absolute humidity. Now what they are saying is that with respect to the temperature, let's say at this particular temperature it is having a capacity to hold water, that is the 100% capacity. Now let's say 20% water is present, that would be your relative you can say humidity. Okay, that is the ratio of actual water vapor to the maximum moisture holding capacity at a particular temperature. Now this is what is given over here, you can go through it. And for your practice, we have a last question here over here. Consider the following countries: Germany, Austria, Poland, Hungary, Serbia and Moldova. Danube river passes through how many of the above countries? only 3, only 4, only 5, only 6. Okay, so you can attempt this question and answer to me in the comment box. With that, I would like to take your leave. Have a nice day. Thank you, and please don't forget to subscribe the channel. Thank you.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.